Hello, welcome back to How to Practice Ševčík Opus 3, Episode 2, Attack of the Spiccato. We just have a quick look at the music here. We'll see very few indications. We have a tempo marking, crotchet equals 144, we'll come back to that. And we have the dreaded spiccato. Does anybody know what spiccato means or where it derives from? It doesn't actually mean short, it means distinct. So, usually what you're after when you're playing spiccato is clarity and distinctness. And of course, the principal difference between spiccato and staccato on a string instrument is that spiccato is created by bouncing the bow. So, I don't know if you're like me, probably had quite a few teachers who said, "Oh, don't worry, it'll come. Your spiccato will happen magically." It's quite a difficult thing to teach. It is a feel thing, but I think the best way it was ever described to me is actually because we think of spiccato as being off the string. So often when we start learning to play spiccato, we think we have to bounce the bow ourselves, and this is actually an inaccuracy, because what we really want is for the bow to bounce on its own, and that's what gives us that clarity. So the best way to start off your spiccato stroke is to find that point on your bow, usually around the middle or slightly lower than the middle of the bow, where your bow wants to bounce on its own. And we can do this by going back to our old friend Mr. Bernard Herrmann and actually make a bit of a disgusting sound for a bit in the string, not with tension, but with a lot of weight and very little bow, and find where the bow is going to bounce all by itself. So let's put the bow on the string, right? Make sure this is relaxed and start making that lovely sound. Use that beautiful flexible wrist we developed in variation 1 to get the bow, find that spot where it wants to go. About there for me. So once you've done that, the idea of spiccato is actually if you think on the string or from the string and let the bow bounce on its own, that's how you're going to get maximal clarity. So the other thing in this variation is we have down bow, one bar, and up bow, the next bar. And it's incredible how what kind of brain tease this is. But if you think about it, if we just skipped that stroke by half a beat, then we're starting at up bow, but starting spiccato up bow and playing a whole bar up bow somehow messes us up. So this is very good here. And the other thing really we have to take notice of is this tempo marking crotchet equals 144. Now, I actually haven't checked that tempo marking for years, probably 20 years or something. And what I realized is I've actually been practicing this not much too fast, but too fast. And what's really great, again, like I mentioned in variation 1, this tempo marking is incredibly clever because it forces you to have total control. Spiccato is one of those things that's actually easier, faster. I mean, very, very fast maybe is difficult, but there is a kind of a comfortable tempo, and this is not. This is a little bit slower than comfortable, and that really means if you can control the bounce of your bow at that speed, then you're in business for controlling your spiccato later on. So if we have a quick look at the first bar, we could just check quickly. So pretty slow. Dynamically, we're going to use the dynamic outline of the theme. So we're going to start with the healthy mezzo forte, we'll do a piano crescendo, and then we'll play the last phrase piano. You can start off just playing the whole thing mezzo forte, and when you're comfortable with that, with the stroke, then start adding dynamics. So the key here is we're using as little bow as possible, and I think start ever so slightly from the string. Your movement comes comes circularly like this, but just place the bow slightly on the string before you start, and so that we have this feeling of the spiccato coming from the string. So. And if we think for the downs and the ups, think of one long down bow and one long up bow. That helps to get the schwung, get the swing of the whole bar. So we're not playing every note. We're letting the bow play the bar. So it's almost like we just give an impulse at the start of the bar and the rest of it plays itself. And this little ending, let's do a retake, like in Variation 1. It gives that little bit of elegance, rather than, right? That's not particularly elegant. But if we just give it that little bit of care, then we get a nice rounded, frilly wig ending, which is all important when we play classical music. So. And doing that little retake gives us that little bit of elegance. Instead of, right, oops, bang. The key here is to use a very small amount of bow. And also, let's try and play musically. So, we have a classical phrasing in this theme. We have short, short, long, and then repeat of the short, short at the end. So we have, 4 bars, 8 bars, and we can help make this phrase a bit. So. Keep going. As you can see, I'm using a little bit of vibrato for the ends of the notes. Now, you can do this also with sound, with just the right hand, but the point is to just take care of those notes that are left lingering through the little quaver rest, or the little 8th note rest, if you are American. So we just give that last quaver of the bar a little bit of quality. Like that. Make it beautiful. Always want to make things beautiful, unless we really want to make them ugly, and then we make them ugly. So, thanks for watching. Hopefully see you soon. Thanks.